Good evening, good evening, my brothers and sisters. How are you doing this evening? We are on the doorsteps of the weekend, so get ready, get ready, get ready. I hope that you all had a fulfilling week, and I hope that you especially had a good day. I hope that you had a positive day. I hope that you did some things that you help other people and then you was helping yourself when you was helping other people. Welcome to the dinner table. My name is Tony M. Toomer. And welcome, brothers, welcome, sisters. Come on in so you can get some of this good food for your soul. Go ahead and invite some more family members and friends. We got plenty of room. We got plenty of room for other people. We never get how shall I say it? We always have a good. How you doing, Sister Tierra Moore? How you doing? Welcome to the dinner table. We have plenty of good soul food for everyone. So go ahead and invite some more family members and friends. If this is your first time at the broadcast, like I said earlier, my name is Tony M. Toomer. Come on in to the dinner table. We got free food for you, my brothers and sisters. It's gonna be good for your soul. I'm on two different channels. I'm on the book and I'm on the tube. I may make some comment to those that are on the tube, but those on the book, you may not see it. And those that are viewed that on the book, you may not see when I make comments to those on the book. So with that said, let me tell you why I'm here at the dinner table. I'm here at the dinner table, my brother and sister, to discuss relationship between a man and a woman. How you doing, Sister Bree? I'm here to welcome to the dinner table. I'm here to express my thoughts on the relationship between a man and a woman. When I say express my thought, I clearly believe that God created the relationship between a man and a woman. Therefore, God could dictate and say how he wants a relationship. So if you're coming to the dinner table or you're going to stand around the dinner table and you're going to look at the menu, I'm letting you know what's on the menu. I talk about the relationship between a man and a woman. If you have any other type of ideas about a relationship, you have what is called free will. You could do whatever you choose to do because God gave you a free will. But with that said, we're about to talk about what's on the menu. What's on the menu tonight? Got some good on the menu tonight. And what's the main meal? Does God want you to leave your mate for infidelity? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Does God want you to leave your mate for infidelity? Now, when it comes to infidelity, my brothers and sisters, in a relationship, this is a tough pill to swallow. It's nothing easy about dealing with this particular topic, but we know that it does exist. It have exist. It does exist, and if God allowed tomorrow to come, it's going to exist tomorrow. Okay, so some of you brothers and sisters, you have experienced infidelity. Some of you brothers and sisters, you have been a part of infidelity. I mean, when I say a part, some of you brothers and sisters, as well as the world, you actively participated in it. And if you did not actively participate in it, maybe it happened directly to you. If it have not happened directly to you, you know of someone, your family, your friends, or your colleagues that have done this before. How you doing, Sister Deborah D. Scott? Welcome to the dinner table. Now, my question to you, my brothers and sisters, is this. What would you do if you find out or had knowledge that your mate committed infidelity against you? Now, just think about that, my brother and sister. Just really think about that. What would you do if you find out that your mate committed infidelity against you? Would you stay and try to work it out? Or would you say, deuces? Or another thing, how you doing, Casper, on that? Casper said, I don't even know. To be okay. How you doing, Sister Vale? Welcome to the dinner table, Casper and Sister Vale. Those of you that are coming in on the menu tonight, does God want you to leave your mate for infidelity? And the two questions that I just posed are, would you stay and try to work it out, or would you say deuces? Another thing, who would likely stay and try to work out the relationship? Will it be the woman or will it be the man? And that's what we're going to discuss at the dinner table tonight. This is going to be a good topic. Now, according to Winnipeg, my brother and sister, when it comes to infidelity, infidelity includes cheating, straying, adultery, being unfaithful, two-timing, or having an affair is a violation of a couple's emotional and or sexual exclusiveness that's commonly result in anger, sexual jealousy, and rival. What constitutes infidelity, my brothers and sisters, depend on the expectations within the relationship. In a marital relationship, exclusiveness, my brother and sister, is commonly assumed, okay? In a marital relationship, that means you're married. Now, what qualifies as infidelity? Does the man and woman have to be married, or they do not? Let's clear this up right now before I get into it. When it comes to infidelity, or from God point of view, he doesn't call it infidelity. God call it adultery. Now, what is adultery? Adultery is when a married man or a married woman commits sexual activities with another person of the opposite sex, basically. That means that the man is married and he have, how shall I say it, an experience with another woman that's not his wife. The woman could be single or she could be married, and vice versa. The woman is married and she could be going out there to get her medicine, per se, with a man that's single or married, but they're not married. So what qualifies as infidelity? In order to commit infidelity or adultery, the man and woman has to be married, okay? Or I back it up. When a man and woman decides to get engaged, moving towards getting married, that means that man and woman, they have taken themselves off of the market. Okay, a man and woman have taken his or herself off the market when they get engaged with a date to get married, or they're already married. Okay, now if a man and woman is not married, listen to me carefully. If a man and woman is not married, that man and that woman, if you look at it from God's point of view, that they don't have no relationship. God, and I always say to my brother and sister, God only look at a relationship of a man and woman that are betrothed to one another. Looking in the Bible, you don't believe me. God only identify a relationship, a bona fide relationship that he put his stamp on it and he's approved. The man and woman, they are engaged, going to get married, or they are married. That's the only way God views a relationship between a man and woman, moving to something positive and long term. Now, how does God look at a relationship between a man and a woman that's not married? From God's point of view, Catherine, that said women will more likely work it out more than men. We're going to talk about that. Thank you for saying that. A1K, how you doing? Welcome to the dinner table. So, when it comes to infidelity, if a man and woman is not engaged, if a man and woman is not married, they are free agents. That's what I call it, my brother and sister. Some people are not going to like what I say, but you're a free agent. You're not committed. Even though you say you committed, if you're looking at it from God's point of view, you're not committed. Now, if you look at it from man's point of view, you're committed. That's man point of view. That's the difference between a man point of view and God point of view. If you're not engaged, moving towards getting married, or if you're not getting married, God don't look at it like you're having a relationship. But to commit infidelity, the man and woman has to be married. Infidelity, from God's point of view, is adultery. Okay? That's from God's point of view. If you're not married, I need to emphasize this. If you, brother, and you, well, if a man and a woman call themselves going together, or my man, my woman, my boo, my significant other, if you have sex with someone other than if you're not a husband or wife, from God's point of view, it's called fornication. From man's point of view, it's called making love or getting some. That's what from man's point of view. Making love or getting some. And the strange thing about it, a man or a woman, when they said let's make love and they're not married, you're not making love. You're not making love. From God's point of view, it's fornication. You know how I know? Because I used to commit a whole bunch of fornication. And you see, I'm here to tell you the truth. I used to be wilding out a long time ago. And that's how some of you are wilding out right now. But as it is written in Hebrews 13:4, Hebrews 13:4, it says marriage is honorable. It is written, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. Listen to this again. How you doing, Sister Flo? Welcome to the dinner table. It say, as written in Hebrews 13:4, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled, but whoremongers and adultery God will judge. Now, my brother and sister, I did a little more research on this. According to the Health Marriage by this man named Joseph Nolan, this is what Joseph stated. He stated that there are 8 leading causes of divorce. He stated that, and I quote, how you doing, cousin Andre? And I quote, welcome to the dinner table, Adrian. Cousin Adrian, welcome to the dinner table. And I quote, the leading cause of divorce can be difficult to pinpoint, but there are some common factors that contribute to the end of marriage. Communication problems, financial stress, infidelity, and unrealistic expectations are often the hard or why most couples decide to split. Now, how often does infidelity is caused in the United States of America? According to some studies, my brothers and sisters, 40% of first marriages in the United States end in divorce, and infidelity is cited as the primary cause in about 1/3 of the divorce cases in the United States. 40%. And that's for first marriages, okay? Now, what are the leading causes of divorces or infidelity? Let me retract. What is the leading cause of divorce in the United States according to Regain editor team? Incompatibility, infidelity, number 2, money issues, 3, emotional and physical abuse, number 4, parenting relate problem, that when 2 people can't decide how to raise their child or children, alcohol and substance abuse, number 6. Now we're about to get into the main course of tonight, my brothers and sisters. Remember that those 2 questions that I asked you earlier. I said, what would you do if you find out that your mate committed infidelity against you? What would you do? That's the question. What would you do? Would you stay and try to work it out, or would you say deuces? Now, and another thing, who is likely to stay and try to work the marriage out? Would it be the man or the woman? Let me tell you this, my brother and sister. When it comes to infidelity and adultery, and we're going to limit down to the United States of America, Or should I limit it to, yeah, I'm going to limit it down to the United States of America. A1 said forgive 100%. This is going to be tough. This is a tough decision that a man or a woman going to make. When it comes to infidelity, my brother and sister, in general, women appears to be stronger in this area to stay in a relationship and try to work it out than men. I'm going to say that 2 more times. It appears that women have more strength in this area to try to stay and work it out between her and her man. I got to say it again and let this sink in. It appears women in general will try to stay and work it out to sustain the relationship between her and her man. On the other hand, most men are weaker in this area. Catherine, that's it. Amen. Most men are weaker in this area. Why do I say this? Because most men are territorial. Most men are proud. Most men have larger than life egos. So men in general are territorial, right? They are basically territorial. Most men are proud, and most men have egos. And let me tell you the thought processes of men and women. Women think, a lot of women think this way. If a woman finds out that her man have committed adultery, that's what we're going to call it, adultery, infidelity, adultery, however you want to put it. Most women look at it like this. Women look at the whole picture. But remember, I said women appear to have more strength in this area. Women look at the whole picture. Women look at, okay, he was with another woman physically. That's what women, in general, women would think. That's how women divide stuff, but they say, okay, he was with another woman. Now, what do I do with this? Women weigh a whole bunch of things out. Women weigh the lifestyle out. And I'm going to give you an example when I say weigh the lifestyle out. Women in general, they're going to look at what else does he do? What does he do? Does he take care of the family? Overall, is he a pretty good husband? If he's a good father, if he's knocking out those bills, overall, how he treat me. That's how a lot of women look at it. And a lot of women look at, okay, I'm hurt that he was with another woman. I'm hurt. But is it worth me leaving this relationship? That's how women do. Women look at, in general, women look at the whole picture. On the flip side of the coin, in general, men don't look at the whole picture. Men look at the picture that another man penetrated his woman. That's how men zero right in on it. Another man penetrated my woman. And a man think like this. I wonder, did she do the same thing she did to me as she doing to this other man? Because I'm going to tell you, my brother and sister, listen to your brother Tony carefully. When it comes to the physical action of other people, it's bad enough doing it. But most men and women that will do the infidelity thing, there are no such thing as prophylaxis. And what do I mean by prophylaxis? I mean rubbers. It is raw. Most sexual acts, my brother and sister, are raw. So you getting the real deal but your last name ain't Holyfield, so you're getting the real deal. So a man thinking another man penetrating his woman, and not only is another man penetrating his woman, this is how most men would think. Now, she could get emotional tied to this man. That's why most men will say deuce to the relationship. Most men are not going to look at the whole picture as what is going on in the relationship. Is she good this way? Is she good this way? But she did this. Can I get over it? Majority of the men, I'm telling you, will not be able to handle this. Most men will not. Women are stronger in this area than men. And that's a fact. Now, what would cause a man or a woman, what is the real thing that will cause a woman to commit infidelity or adultery against her man? What is the main cause that cause a man to step out on his woman? Let's start with the woman first. In general, women are what? You all know what I'm about to say. A1K says, spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. That's right, brother. Jesus did make a statement. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Before I get into what I was about to say, let me tell you this, my brother and sister. A lot of people think that there has to be a problem in the serious committed and covenant relationship for a man or woman to commit adultery or infidelity against their mate. I need to tell you this, my brother and sister. There doesn't have to be a major problem in a relationship for a man to step out or a woman to step out. Called brother A1K hit it. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. There are some men and some women, they have a good home. There are some men and some women that they love their spouse. They love them. But it's the sin factor. Every man and every woman has a sin factor. Every man and every woman will lust after something. But some have the lust problem of infidelity or adultery if they're in a serious committed and covenant relationship. So don't think it got to be trouble in the house for a man to step out or a woman to step out. Catherine on that said lack of sex for men, and it's like women hit the e-brakes when locked in with them. That's a point. Now, let's see why some women do it. How you doing, Sister Ashford? Welcome to the dinner table. Why do some women go and commit adultery with another man outside the serious covenant relationship? Women in general are emotional. Women in general are emotional. If a woman is not basically getting fed emotionally, and the man is rejecting her, more than likely that could lead her, because remember, the spirit is willing and the flesh is weak. And I'm even talking about some Christian, I can narrow it down to Christian brothers and Christian women. I don't have to talk just about the world. The world gonna do their thing anyway. I can narrow it down to Christian men and Christian women. Does a Christian man or a Christian woman commit adultery or infidelity? Yes. Don't ever think because a man and a woman is a Christian, he or she will not do it. You need to accept this fact, my brother and sister. If you get married, my brother, if you get married, my sister, there's a possibility, and I'm not trying to make you afraid, my brother and sister. I'm not trying to scare you up. There's a possibility that infidelity may visit your home. You don't want it to visit your home, but there's a possibility. So I'm telling you, my brother and sister, when you can love your mate, but never put your mate on a pedestal where he or she will not do anything. As a matter of fact, don't put yourself on a pedestal. The only person that that belong on a pedestal is Jesus himself. Now, like I said, I'm not trying to cause you to be afraid to get into a relationship, but there's a possibility that it can happen to you, even if you have a good home. Case in point, Adam and Eve had the best home on earth before they sinned. Just think about it. Adam and Eve, they had a good relationship with God first, individually. Then they had a good relationship with God together. And they had the perfect home. They were in the perfect environment. But they wanted more. So Adam and Eve, they committed spiritual adultery against God first. Because adultery comes in the heart. You know what Jesus said? Jesus said, if a man look upon a woman and lust after her, he have already committed adultery with her in his heart. So adultery takes place before the actual penetration of a man enter into a woman. It starts in the heart first. And it also starts, so a woman, it can happen in her heart as well as a man. In order to get to that part, you have to think about it. And when you think about it, what are you doing? You are writing a script. You about to produce something, and you going to bring it into flourishing. You're going to act upon it. More likely, you're going to do it. And this old saying is, you cannot stop a bird from flying over your head, but you can stop a bird from building a nest. Now, what does that mean? It means that it represents a thought. When a bird flying over your head, that's like a fleeing thought. But when you allow the bird to start getting twigs and stuff and build on your head, that means that you're contemplating on it. You are pondering over it. I'm going to tell you this, my brother and sister, and this is going to upset some of you all because some of you all are in denial. There are some brothers, they love their wives, but they may lust after another woman sexually. There are some women that love their husband, but they may lust after other men sexually. The man may not, more than likely, he's not going to share those thoughts with his wife, and more than likely, a woman is not going to share those thoughts with her husband. So the reality is, a man has sinful nature, and a woman has sinful nature. And if a man or woman is weak in that area, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. There are some men that are weak in that area. There are some women that are weak in that area. So for every weakness that we have, but we're talking about infidelity, brother, you need Jesus. Help. Sister, you need Jesus. Help. You're not strong. There are some men and women that think they can hang out with somebody else and they think they got all this strength. But when you put that man or woman in a certain environment, it can go down. But back to the woman. What caused the woman to do it? A woman is more emotional. And if her man is not feeding her emotion, meaning paying attention to her and depriving her, talking to her in a bad way, he's not building her up. Every time he talked to her harsh. He telling her that she ain't nothing. He telling, he making it seem like nobody don't want you. Look, you done gained all that weight. Look at all those cellulites who want you. I don't want you. And this the killer. Some men actually tell their woman, I don't want you. Why are you here? Why don't you leave? That's how some men do. Some men emotionally and mentally abuse the woman. Don't you know when a man emotionally and mentally abuse a woman, that will hurt harder sometimes than actually getting his fist and going upside her head. Because you see, words have power. Words have the power of life and death. If a man continues to talk down to his woman and do not lift her up and not feeding her emotions. And then you got these guys on the outside that going to be telling her how good she look. And they're going to be saying nice words that she want to hear from her man other than outside men. So if her man on the inside is being very negative, you see all these minus signs, and then you have a man or men on the outside that give her all these pluses. Remember, the woman is emotional. How you doing, Sister Campbell? Welcome to the dinner table. She's emotional. So what's she gonna do? The average woman, even a Christian woman, eventually, most of them, not all, but eventually, she may take a man up on it. What do I mean? A man been after her, telling her how good she look. Let's go to lunch. Let's go to dinner. Let's do this. And she been holding herself back. She may share that kind of stuff with her girlfriends or her mama, but more than likely, she's going to share it with a girlfriend or her girlfriend. She telling her girlfriend some stuff. More than likely, her girlfriends are going to be more supportive of her than the man. And when she opened her heart up to her girlfriends and she continued to say stuff like that, hold on. Somebody's saying this. Let me see what they say. How you doing, cousin Tanisha? How you doing? Sister, she said, if I could go back in time, I would not have stayed. The cheating stemmed from a deeper problem within the person, or lack of love, or care, or respect for you. You just have to, you just have egg on your face with embarrassment, shame, disrespect, bring down your self-esteem, and the bickering and arguing ruin the family dynamic, especially the children. Leave. You're just being dragged out into an inevitable and relationship will eventually end anyway when you are dealing with a person in love, respect, and care. Amen, cuz. Amen, amen, amen. Now, back to what I was saying. This woman thinks she's strong. She think that, okay, I could go hang out with another man and nothing not going to happen. That's what some of them think. So it can start a little bit. They may go out to eat dinner. They may go out to eat lunch. They may walk around the park. They may do different things, right? And that's public. But eventually, if she keeps seeing this man, it's going to become an isolation thing. And I have said it before. It's going to become an isolation thing. And what do I mean by that? She's going to get in a position where she's going to isolate from the man. Let me give you an example, my brother and sister. The lady and the man. I mean, the lady and her main man, her husband, they get into an argument. And now the pimple pop. She get a phone. She called this other man. How you doing, Sister Teresa? Tom, welcome to the Delta. She called this other man and see what he's doing. Right now, she's in her emotion because she's hurt, she's angry, and she want to get away. She asked him what he doing, and he said nothing. She said, can I come over? When she tell this other man, can I come over, already in his mind, he think about putting the lady on her back. You understand? Let me tell you, sister, something like this. Listen to me carefully. If you're talking to a man outside of your home, you need to listen to what your brother Tony's saying, telling you tonight. You need to listen. Don't hear me. If you are talking to another man outside your home, the other man know that you get married, because more than likely you done told him a whole bunch of stuff, what your husband doing and what you're not doing. So he's playing the part of a therapist or a counselor. There are some men that will boost you up and saying he shouldn't treat you that way. You a good woman, you're beautiful. Why would a man treat you like that? But what you sister don't realize sometimes, he is just baiting you because he know that you're vulnerable at that time. That's what a lot of women don't understand. Men, a lot of time, they play on your vulnerability. So you get up and go to that man's house. And more than likely, majority of the women, not all, but majority of the women, when they go to this other man's house, more than likely, they think or it come to their mind that it might happen. So what do? Sometimes They may take a special trip, and I have said it before. They may take a special trip to talk to their friend called Victoria. And who is Victoria? Victoria's Secret. That's her last name. So they go to Victoria's Secret and buy some little items. They go home, freshen up, and put on their little items. They get into a heated argument with a man that's been talking bad about them for a while, that mentally and emotionally abusing them, and make it seem like they could sit on a curve and the feet won't even touch the street. That's just how low they feel. So they leave the house, they call this other man up, and they going over to the house. While they on their way up, this other man, he's thinking about, it's my opportunity. So she get excuse me. So she get over to the man's house. She go over there and pour her heart out to the man. And let me tell you, sister, this. Most men don't want to really hear what you got to say about your husband. I'm going to say that 2 more times. Most men do not want to hear what you got to say about your husband. Most men do not want to hear what you got to say about your husband, okay? So they will listen to you because they know that they're going to get a reward out of listening to you. And what is the reward? They will go ahead. So you get over there and you pour your heart out to this man. Now you're on the fence. And long as the man don't say nothing stupid or do nothing stupid, more than likely, so you setting yourself up for the okie doke. So he listened to you. You cry your tears. He wipe your tears out. He's your savior, right? He wipe your tears. He wipe your tears away. He might even ask you, if you're on the fence, do you need a drink? And what does alcohol do for you? It loosens you up, especially if you're on the fence. So you go ahead and drink that wine. And when you drink that wine, whatever restraints you got, you already thought you were strong when you went over there, but you didn't realize that you're vulnerable and you open. So you get that alcohol in you. And let me tell you something, sister. If you don't know this now, you're about to find out tonight. If you notice this, most men, when they offer you alcohol and you're in a secluded place, they're gonna try to fill that glass up, and then they're gonna drink some with you. But they're gonna try to ease in more alcohol in you than themselves. Why is that? Because most men know if the more alcohol they drink, it may have something to affect their libido. You understand? So they want to put that stuff in you to loosen your restraints. So your restraints being loosened, your tears are going away. The next thing you know, you're kissing this man. And while you kissing this man, the alcohol is in you. And while the alcohol is in you, then those feelings, your emotions start opening up. And now you want to feel close to this other man, right? So you want to feel close to him. So he start kissing on you and you feel like you want to pull back from him, right? So you going through that, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. But guess what's going to win out? More than likely, your flesh is going to win out. So he start kissing on you. He start fondling on you. While he kissing, fondling on you, you may drop a tear because you might be on the fence. You might say, I shouldn't do this, but what the heck? I shouldn't do this, but what the heck? I shouldn't do this, but what the heck? So he's still working on you and working on you and working on you. He kissing you. He fondling you. The next thing you know, you just let it go. You start kissing him back. How you doing, such a Sherry Smell? Work to them tape. So you start kissing him back and you start getting all involved. And then he start loosening up the restraints on your clothes. And the next thing you know, if you're in the living room, it may go down in the living room, or it's going to end up in his bedroom. So when it end up in his bedroom, you right there and you do it. And while you in his bed, and when you're in his bedroom, you thinking about, I shouldn't be doing it to my husband, even though he treat me bad, he talk bad to me. I shouldn't be doing it, but you're gonna be doing it. So now you're in the middle of what I'm doing, I'm feeling guilty, but yet it feel good. So might physically be feeling good because you know what? You going through your emotions then. So you're feeling guilty, and not only are you feeling guilty, it probably feeling good because you've been thirsting for a man to hold you. You prefer it to be that man at home, but he's not treating you right. So this other man holding you and stuff, something that you've been missing. So you feel guilty. So it's all over. So when it get all over, you thinking, I'm not gonna do this. So you go to the bathroom, unless he brings some stuff. You go to the bathroom, you sit on the toilet, and you just think about what you just done. You wash it, you may take a shower, you may take a wash off or whatever. Then you get back in your car. He said, call me when you get home or whatever. So you get in the car, and you're driving home. And you just replay what you just did. If you're a Christian woman, possibly you're feeling guilty. You're feeling real guilty. You're thinking, I have hurt the Lord first. That's what you're going to be thinking. I have hurt the Lord first. I shouldn't have done that. I'm a married woman. I shouldn't be doing this. So you really feeling guilty. So you may call a close girlfriend and she try to comfort you. And then there's some girlfriend that said you should have been doing it all the while. But then you may have that one that try to be compassionate and try to say, hey girl, that was a mistake. Don't do it no more. So you feeling so bad. You're feeling bad, but then you're feeling good. You're feeling bad, but then you're feeling good. So you get home and that husband of yours, the one that mentally and emotionally abusing you, he there looking at a football game with a beer in his hand, and you walk by, he won't even say nothing. Then you go back in your bathroom and you take another shower or a bath, and more than likely you're gonna take a bath. You sit in that bathtub, and all you're doing is replaying what just happened a few minutes or hours ago, and you keep washing and washing and washing because you think you feel dirty, but it's not the body, it's on the inside, your soul. That's what's going on. So more than likely, you see, you got a memory too. So if your husband keep doing that stuff to you, you're gonna find yourself soul tied to this other man. And you're going to keep going over there. You're going to keep going with him and everything. And guess what? You're going to get to the place where you're not feeling guilty no more. Because you're soul tied. And at this point, my sisters, you can get to the point where you confuse love with what you're missing at home. You understand? You think you're in love with this man, but you're not in love with him. You're just depending on him because he's giving you something that your husband not giving you no more. And then there are some women that do like that. They will stay with the husband because of financial reasons or whatever, but then they'll have their little thing on the side. And then the dangerous part, they could fall really hard for this man. Now, and then some women, wives, this man could be single. But what you understand, you married, sister, if you deal with a man that's single, what make you think he's just gonna wait for you when you have a problem with your husband? You need to know this tonight. If you don't know, that man got a woman in his life besides you married women. That's what some of you women need to understand. You got a husband, this man's single. He got a woman or women. And guess what? Just like you give it to him raw, he getting it raw from that other woman or women. You need to know the truth. It's all raw dog. And then you get so soul tied with him. When you find out that this man is messing with other women, then sometimes you want to act like a clown, but you forgot you're married. You put yourself in that position. Now, that's what happened. Now let's go to the man side. Why do men do it? Most of the time, men do it because, in general, what you sister need to understand is this. Men, when they look at other women, most men, they think about physical first. You sister need to understand it. Most men think about the physical first than what's on the inside of you. You got to get this in, okay? When a lot of time when men step out, it's basically because of the physical sex. You got to understand that. Most of the time men do it. They can have a good woman at home. Men don't have to be upset all the time to do it. And then when men, then this is another thing. You got to listen to this. There are some women, sister Christian women, they want to play sex. They want to play refrain from their husband. What do I mean by that? You are a married woman and your husband coming to you for his physical needs, but you deny him. There's a lot of women that deny their husband sex. Or they since it's Christmas time next week, some of these sisters, you play like you Santa Claus. You want to ration your physical things out like you Miss Claus. There's a lot of sisters that you're Miss Claus. You want to ration your body out like if he don't do this or he do that, he could be a good man. But you want some women that control the man with sex. Wives. And if the man don't do what she want him to do, she holds back. Some women, they do like this. They wait till the man, they try to wait till the man go to sleep. Or they try to dress very unattractive. So he won't desire her. Some women actually start arguments so the man don't want to touch her. So this man being deprived and you his wife. And not only that, some women, they talk to their men very disrespectful. You see, I have said this before. Men equate love with what? Respect. If the woman talking to the man like he's a little boy, and then this other woman or women on the outside, they respect the man. They respect the man, and they tell the man, they build the man up while his wife is tearing him down. And let me tell you another thing, sister. If a man is having a positive life, and you see, a woman supposed to support her man. She's supposed to encourage him and nourish him. Listen to this. She needs to respect him. She needs to support him. She needs to nourish him. How do you nourish? It's more than just cooking greens and chicken. You understand? It's more than that. Now, if you are talking to the man like he's a little boy without respect, if you doing some crazy stuff, disrespectful stuff, just totally disrespecting him, then he started looking at another woman. Because let me tell you something, sister, just like men attracted to women, just like other men attracted to a woman, there are some women out there that are attracted to married men. Let me tell you something that you don't know this. And I said this before. You see this right here? You see what I got on my hand? It's a wedding band. But guess what? This is also a chick magnet. That's right. This is a chick magnet. Don't you know, sisters, that there are some women, they just want to deal with married men. They just want to deal with married men. Some women love being the side chick. Speaking of side chick, let me give you an example. There was this lady, and some of you have heard it before. There was this lady, she got in contact with me a little while back. When she got in contact with me, I thought that she wanted to have some counseling, right? No, she didn't want no counseling. She stayed out of town. This lady, she had retired, and she told me, she said, hey, I said, how can I help you, sister? She said, look, this is what I want to do. I want to move into your state. I said, okay, fine. She said, I want to be your wife. I said, my what? I said, I'm married. She said, I know you married. I see your wife. She said, but I want to be your wife too. I said, how that's supposed to work? You see, I want to really know what this woman talk about. So I'm getting entertained. So I could have got, I'm mentally getting me a bag of popcorn and soda, right? Cause I got to listen to this. So I'm listening to her. She said, I can move to your state. I can get me a house. You ain't got to worry about that. I said, okay, you move to my state and you get a house. And I said, how does this supposed to work? She said, this is how it's supposed to work. She said, whatever you're doing for your wife, just do it for me. I said, say that again. She said, whatever you're doing for your wife, just do it for me. She said, as a matter of fact, we could all live together. That's right. She said, we all could live together. There's some women that would do stuff like that. Because you see, this is a chick magnet. And you know what? You see, there are some men, married men, that actually run after women. Because I hear a whole bunch of women out there. Look at A1K, he laughed about that. It's true, brother. There are some women out there that a man don't have to run after them. You see, some women think, some women say, it's so many married men approach me. They mean running after them. But guess what? Let me tell you all something. There are some men that are married, they don't have to run after women. The women voluntarily come to them. You understand that? They come to them. When you look at the statistics, and a whole bunch of men know that when you look at the statistics, there are more men, there are more women than men. And a lot of men play on that statistically, right? Because what they say about men, what the thing out there, they said they're either gay, they're either unemployed, they're in jail, and all that negative stuff. So it's a few. So with that few, I'm willing to share. And there's a whole bunch of women out there that they come to that conclusion. I'm willing to share a man. And then there are some men out there, they willing to play that part, to share. There are some men that actually tell women, oh, they stand in the United States of America, but they want this hair up under their roof. And some women, they agree to it. So you got a man that got two women up under his roof or more than them, and they the wives. And in the United States of America, they really don't play that. You know what I mean? But that's some stuff that happened. Infidelity or adultery. Now, like I said earlier, women have more strength in this area than men. Women in general, they are more forgiving, and they would try to work it out because women look at the whole picture. What we're going to lose in this. I'm going to give you all a prime example. A prime example. You all remember years ago when there was this debacle in Washington, D.C. Remember Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton. You all remember that, right? Remember that. Bill was accused of having a little thing with Monica. Bill had to go in front of the grand jury, to my understanding, and they read this thing to him about, I'm paraphrasing it, about going outside on your wife, meaning adultery, right? Or now sex. So the definition, you brothers and sisters got to remember this, the definition that they read to Bill Clinton, it did not include aura in there. So did he lie? He didn't lie. Directly he didn't. When they asked him, when they read that definition to him, they didn't have the aura part in there. So therefore, in his mind, he didn't lie. But some people say he lied by omission. So what did Bill say? Bill came on TV one night. Before he came on TV, he talked to Hillary. Hillary knew about it. So when Hillary knew about it, everybody knew. So Bill had to face it. You know why Bill had to face it? Because Monica kept the evidence. She kept that dress with the dried semen on it. Now, why would a woman keep a dress with semen on it and then tell another lady? She had a motive. She had some on Bill. Let me tell you some of you married brothers. Let me tell you this. When you're dealing with another woman, whether it's a wife or a single woman, a lot of those women, they're going to get some evidence on you. Some of you, and I'm not endorsing what I'm about to say. Listen, I'm not endorsing what I'm about to say, but this is how it go down a lot of times. Some of you guys, y'all be texting these women and you really express what you want to do with them. You actually text these women and let them know what you want to do with them. And you actually leave voicemail to these women. So now they got documentation, your text, you telling them how much you want to be with them, what you want to do with them. Then you leave voicemail what you want to do. How you doing, my little sister Renee? Then you're going to leave a voicemail with an outside woman letting her know what you want to do with her. Let me tell you some of you brothers. Don't you know when you send a text to a woman and it's playing out what you want with her, she's sharing it with somebody. She's not the only one that's going to look at it. Because most women going to share stuff. You thinking between you and her, right? If you, brother, get involved with a woman on the outside, whether she's single or whether she married, she's going to tell somebody. I'm letting you know that now. On the flip side, some women saying, don't some men talk to? Yes, they do. But more than likely, a lot of men ain't going to talk too much. I didn't say all men, but more than likely, they're not going to talk too much. They may tell their boys, maybe, and then some will not. But on the average, most women are going to talk. They're going to talk to somebody. They're going to tell the girls. Whoever her girlfriend is, you brothers, whoever her girlfriend is, she's going to tell her. Whoever her girlfriend is, she's going to share it. She's going to let them read the text. She's going to let them listen to the voicemail. She wants to take a picture with you. And some of you brothers, you will actually take a picture with a woman outside of your wife. Because you trusting Delilah. And we know Delilah will give you a free haircut. So, brothers, it's already crazy you texting them and letting them and expressing what you want to do to them. You leaving voicemail. Now you taking a picture. Don't you know, brother, sometimes when you be with a woman or even a woman that's single or a woman that's married, you go to sleep. Whether you don't want to take a picture or not, they may take pictures of you while you sleep. And what you going to do? And then some of you guys, you take a picture of your genitalia and you text it to the woman, the side woman. Now she got you too. You send a picture of your genitalia to another woman. Then you want to call out the relationship. You text her, evidence. You leave voicemail, evidence. You take a picture with her, evidence. You send a picture of your genitalia, evidence. You want to call out the relationship. She say, you're not going to walk away from me like that. She's soul tied to you. You think you could just walk away freely, right? Now she's going to destroy you. You think you could just walk away when she's soul tied. She'll let everybody know. Don't you know, brothers, even if you deal with a woman that's married and she's so tied to you, she'll still try to mess you up. She don't care about her husband finding out if she's so tied to you. If she don't care nothing about her husband and she call herself in love with you, she gonna come after you with both barrels. She don't care. She might come to your job and try to mess you up. If she know where you live at, she might knock on the door. If she know where your wife work at, she may go to your wife's job. If your wife is on social media, she may inbox your wife and want her to know some things. Brother, you set yourself up for that. And I'm not endorsing this. Some of you brothers, you tell the other women everything about your wife, the highs and the lows. Evidence. She talked to your wife, and your wife would say, when your wife confronts you, when your wife said, we need to talk. And then your wife asks you a question to see, are you going to tell her the truth? She asks you, are you seeing anyone else? You said, no. You lie. Have you been seeing anyone else? No, I haven't. You lie. Then she pull out all those things. And let me tell you how some women do it. They said your own wife will collaborate with this other woman, and she'll bring that other woman out. That other woman could be at your house in another room when you come there. And she set you up, and the other woman come out, and now they both got you. Does God want you to leave your mate for infidelity? I'm finna wrap this up. Now, the question, does God want you to leave your mate for infidelity? There's a story in the Bible. Some of you know about it, some of you don't. In the book of Hosea, Hosea was a prophet. God told him to go marry this woman named Gomer, and we're not talking about Gomer Pyle. He told Hosea to marry Gomer. Let me tell you about Gomer. Gomer was the neighborhood lady. What do I mean by neighborhood lady? Everybody knew about Gomer. Gomer was a loose woman. But God told Hosea to marry her. How many of you brothers, if you know a whole bunch of men know about that woman sexually, want to marry her? Most men do not want to marry a woman that they know that got a sexual history. That's why some of you brothers, I need to put a dime here right now for some of you brothers. If you're going to marry a woman, you got to be very careful when you ask that woman about her sexual past. Do you really want to know the truth? Do you really want to know the truth? Some of you guys think if a woman got 2 children, maybe about 2 men, you think she just had sex with 2 men. Just because you see 2 children, that don't mean it's 2 men or 1 man. It could be more. And then some of you guys, if a woman doesn't have a child, you think that she ain't been doing nothing. She could have been giving more action than the woman that have children. You don't know. So if you're going to marry a woman, brother, do you really want to know her sexual history? You know the thing out there. Let me tell you something, sister, some things out there. You know what men talk about? If a woman give a man a number, most men say multiply it by 2 or 3. If she say I just been with 2 men, multiply it by 2. If she say I've been with 5 men, multiply it by 2 or 3. That's the thing in the man hemisphere, okay? So I want you sister to know about that, okay? But back to Hosea and Gomer. Gomer was out there. God told Hosea to marry her. Now just think about it. Hosea He got to tell it. He telling his family and his friend, I'm gonna marry Gomer. Can you imagine what his family and friends said? Are you crazy? Don't you know that? Don't you know she's the neighborhood? And when I'm not talking, and she's the neighborhood garden tool, and I'm not talking about a shovel. She's the neighborhood garden tool. And then Hosea will say, God told me to do it. God told you to do that. God told you to go get that husband. I got to do what God say. Do you think Hosea actually, from a physical standpoint, I mean a man standpoint, on a physical level, really want to do it? No. No man don't want to do that. But he went ahead and obeyed God. Hosea married Gomer. And when Hosea married Gomer, guess what Gomer did? She went back out in the streets. You remember that terminology that said you could take the woman out of the country, but you cannot take the country out of the girl? So he took Gomer out of the country, but he couldn't take the country out of the girl. So Gomer went back out in the streets. And when Gomer went back out in the streets, Gomer went and started working. Gomer had a pimp. So a pimp was pimping out Hosea's wife. So God told Hosea to go get your wife. So when Hosea went to get Gomer, he had to pay a pimp to get his wife back. And he took her back. How many men would do that? Why am I telling you this story? God used Hosea and Gomer to make a point. What was the point? When Hosea went to get Gomer, it was like he was redeeming her. What is redeeming? It's just like when you got something in the pawn shop and you go and you have to go get it back. You understand? That's what redeem means. Like if you take jewelry to the pawn shop, they give you got a receipt. In order to get that jewelry back, you got to bring that receipt and you got to pay to get it back. That's what it called to be redeemed. That's what Hosea did. He had to redeem Gomer. Even though she did a whole bunch of bad stuff, he had to do it. Which means the same thing on a spiritual level. When Jesus came into the world, he had to redeem us from who? Satan. Adam and Eve, they gave Satan the keys to the world. When Adam and Eve sinned, they gave Satan the world. Because you see, what you don't understand, my brother, this stuff is deep. Satan is the God of this world. When I said the God of this world, the small D-O-G. And Jesus proved the point that Satan is the God of this world. You know why I say? Because when Jesus got baptized by his cousin John the Baptist, Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days. Jesus was hungry. Satan came and tempted Jesus, right? On one occasion, Satan told Jesus, if you bow down to me, I will give you the glories of this world. Jesus did not deny it. He did not deny it because he knew Satan was the God, the little g of this world. When I said the little g of this world, the system. The system. So when Jesus came, he was sent by God to redeem us from the clutches of Satan. How did Jesus redeem us? He died on the cross. And what did Jesus pay? Jesus paid with his blood. The life is in the blood. So Jesus paid to get us back with his blood, his precious blood. He redeemed us back. Even though we cahoots with Satan, we sinned. Every man and every woman that come into the world has sinned. Jesus is the only one that could say, I don't want you no more. You messed up. You kept doing what you said you weren't going to do. You messed up. I don't want you no more. Jesus, my brother, Jesus, my sister, is the only one that can say, I don't want you. How many times, brothers, have you sinned against the Lord? How many times, sister, have you sinned against the Lord? How many times, brother, have you told Jesus, forgive me? Sister, how many times have you asked Jesus forgive you? Brother, you go to Jesus, ask for forgiveness, you walk away, you forgiven. Sister, you ask Jesus forgive you, you forgiven. However, there's a consequence. Because the Bible clearly says, wherever a man soweth, he reap. And you see, a lot of time when we tell Jesus we're sorry, what we think is we're gonna bypass the what you call it? What we're gonna reap. I put it that way. Whatever we reap, we sow. That's what we're gonna get. The consequences. That's it. The consequence. We want to avoid the consequence. But the Lord, let me put you all on blast tonight. The Lord does not stop the consequence. That's what you all need to learn tonight. Whatever you do, whatever man sow, he reap. Because the Bible said God is not mocked. Whatever man sow, he reap. That go for a woman too. So, brother, if you do something wrong, God will forgive you. He will clean the slate, but he's not going to stop the consequence. Sister, whenever you go to the Lord and ask him to forgive you, he will forgive you, but he's not going to stop the consequence. That's what we need to learn. Ask King David. King David. What we talking about tonight? Infidelity. King David, the king of Israel, the second king of Israel. The Bible said that David was a man after God's own heart. What did David do? Well, you know the story. David, he was supposed to be out on the battlefield with his army, because during that time, kings would go to battle with their men. But David stayed home. He was chilling. David got up and went on his rooftop, walking around, chilling. Why? He should have been on the field fighting. He didn't do it. He was chilling that day. What did David see? David seen Bathsheba taking a bath. Why was she taking a bath? She had just finished her ministration. So she was cleaning herself. David stood up there looking at Bathsheba. While David was looking at Bathsheba, David started lusting. And what you all don't understand is this. Satan was there with David. The Bible don't tell you that, but there was an evil present with David. Satan was talking in David's ear, said, don't she look good? Look at her. She looks so beautiful. She fine. Just think what you could do with her, David. Just think what you could do with that woman. Look at her. Look at her. And all this stuff was going in David's mind. What did David do? He started lusting after Bathsheba. See, but the thing about it, David had some wives, plural. He had some concubines too. Understand? But Bathsheba, she was married to one man. His name was Uriah the Hittite. Where was Uriah? Uriah was out on the battlefield fighting for King David. So David got Bathsheba to come over to the castle. So what did David do? He slept with Bathsheba. When David slept with Bathsheba, what happened? Bathsheba got pregnant. So Bathsheba sent word to David that she was pregnant. Where was Uriah, her husband? He was still out there fighting for David. David had a problem. So David said to himself, he talked to himself, how I'm going to fix this. This is how I'm going to fix it. I'm going to get Uriah off the battlefield. I'm going to give him some time off so he could chill with his wife. So in David's mind, if I get Uriah for fighting, he's going to go home. He's going to have sex with his wife, and then we could put it on him that it's his baby. But you see, when Uriah came back, Uriah, he did not go home. He stayed at the castle on the outside. You know what Uriah said? It's not fair for me to go to my home and be with my wife when my brothers them out there fight. David had another problem, which he had to go to plan B. What was plan B? I got to do something about it, because my plan A is not working. This is what I do. I'm going to write a letter. I'm going to get Uriah killed. So he wrote a letter, Uriah death sentence. He folded it up and he gave it to Uriah. He said, take it back to the battlefield and give it to the captain. So Uriah did not read the letter. He was a faithful man. He went and gave it to the captain. The captain read it. On that letter, it said, put Uriah on the hottest part of the battle. And when you put him on the hottest part of the battle, withdraw from him. So the captain took it out. So Uriah out there fighting with everybody. Everyone knew what they were supposed to do. So while Uriah and the rest of them were pulling back, one by one, they was pulling back. And Uriah was out there fighting by himself. What happened? He got killed. So when Uriah got killed, David married Bathsheba. But at that time, David did not tell the Lord he was sorry or nothing. He was prideful and everything. He didn't say he was sorry. So he thought he was going to fix it by marrying Bathsheba. So when David married Bathsheba, he thought everything was hunky-dory. So this prophet, Nathan, came to David and said, David, I got to ask you something, King. He said, what is it? He said, I got a story to tell you. And David said, say on. He said, there was this man. I'm paraphrasing. He said, there was this man that had a whole bunch of sheep. And then there was this other man that had one sheep. I'm paraphrasing it. And he said, the man that had a whole bunch of sheep took that one sheep that man loved. What do you think should happen to the man? David seen how wrong it was. David said, the man that took that one sheep and he had all those sheep, he need to die. And you know what Nathan told him? He said, you the man. He said, you got all these wives, but you took Uriah the Hittite wife and you had him murdered. And you know what David said? David, right then, it was put in his face. God worked through that prophet to put it right in David's face, because God had to put it in his face. And then David said, I sinned against the Lord. And then you know what the prophet told David? David, the Lord have forgiven you, but they're going to be a sword in your house. So what happened? All of David's wives that he had, they started sleeping with other people. And when they started sleeping with other people, it was well known. David had conflicts with his children. One of his sons, Absalom, tried to take the kingdom from him, because when people used to go to David to try to solve a dispute, if they didn't like it, Absalom was there, and then Absalom changed whatever his dad said. So the people started falling in love with Absalom. So they wanted to follow Absalom. So Absalom had his dad David on the run. The same man that killed Goliath, the same man that had killed a lion in the battle before Goliath. David's son Absalom had him on the run. David had to go to battle with his son Absalom. David told the captain, don't kill my son. So Absalom had long hair. Absalom on his beast riding. He rode up on a tree. The tree caught his hair. So the beast kept on running, which more than likely was a horse. So Absalom was hung up by his hair. He was stuck. He was in a jam. The man got a spear and killed Absalom. Not only that, before that, we're doing that time, David saw him by Bathsheba. When the child was born, the child was sick. David went to the Lord and prayed for the Lord to heal his child. The Lord did not heal his child. The child died. Not only that, David had all these wives, and one of his daughters was a beautiful girl. And he had the other son, a stepson, that wanted to have sex with his sister, his stepsister. So he tricked his dad and David and said, act like he was sick because David's son, he got with one of his friends and they talked about it. So they set this thing up. So his son went to David and said he was sick and he wanted one particular sister to bring him some food. So everybody was gone. So she came in, his son raped her. He raped his stepsister. She told him, don't do this because she was a virgin. If a man touched a virgin during that time, nobody was not going to want her. So he defiled her. So he raped her. The Bible says he loved her, but then after he raped her, he hated her. What did she do? She went and told her natural brother. And what did her natural brother do? By David, he went and killed that son. It didn't stop right there. David was sick. He was old and sick. One of David's sons thought he was going to be over Israel. In the meantime, David had another son by Bathsheba, and you all know him as King Solomon. So Bathsheba and the prophet, they went to David and they talked to David about Solomon. So instead of giving to that particular son, David gave the kingdom to Solomon. So David died, and Solomon knew he had to do something with that other brother. Solomon had to put him away. So that's what happened, my brother, and that's what happened, my sister. You see what? God will forgive you, but you're going to face the consequences. So, but back to the original question, does God want you to leave your mate for infidelity? Just like I told you about the story of Hosea and Gomer, he told Hosea to go get his wife, redeem her. This is a hard teaching tonight, my brother and sister. If you could stomach it, God will prefer that you take your mate back and try to work with him or her. I know there's some hard teaching. There's some hard teaching tonight. That's what God would prefer. But it's up to you, brother and sister. But God will prefer you redeem your mate back. I love you, brothers. I love you, sister. I hope that you all got something out of it. And in order to redeem back, you got to be forgiven. If you take your mate back after infidelity, you got to forgive. Like Jesus. Now, some people say, I'm not Jesus. I can't forgive. You know what? I can forgive, but I can't forget. You don't want Jesus to treat you like that. Do you want to go to Jesus and Jesus say, I can forgive, but I can't forget? No, you don't want Jesus to do that. You got to do just like Jesus. You have to forgive. And like I said, I know there's some hard teaching. Women have more strength in that department than men. So, brothers, before you get married to a woman, sister, before you get married to a man, there's a possibility that infidelity may happen in your relationship. Not saying it will, not saying it won't. So don't ever think it cannot happen to you. But if it does happen to you, you need the Lord to help you. And if you take your mate back, my brother and sister, you got to forgive. Oh, one more thing. On that movie called Fatal Attraction, you remember when Michael Douglas and Glenn Close did their thing. You know what Michael Douglas' wife, Beth, asked him? Do you love her? And you know what he said? No, I don't love her. You see, women, that's how women do things. All women really want to know what you're feeling towards that man, that other woman. That's how women in general, they want to know what's going on. What's going on? Women even tolerate a lot of children on the outside, and you all know about that. If a man find out that his wife had a child by another man, more than likely he's going to say deuce if he find out about it. Because you know it's a saying out there, mama baby, daddy maybe. But a lot of women, they forgive their husband for having all these outside children. I could go on and on, but I need to end it tonight. I love you, brother. I love you, sister. Go ahead and take some of this food out and share with some more family members and friends. Go ahead and share it, okay? I love you, brother. I love you, sister. I hope that you got something out of it. Like I said, it's some hard teaching. Does God want you to leave your mate for infidelity? He will prefer you work it out. That's the bottom line. He will prefer it, okay? I love you, brother. I love you, sis. I keep saying that. Peace out.